Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. All right, so I've been listening to people talk about the Lakers for the last 25, 30 minutes. We had a Zach LaVine Bulls-Laker conversation this morning to where I continued my case for why we need to stay far away from the Zach LaVine contract as the Los Angeles Lakers. The more I think about where I think he would fit in, probably be Denver, given the fact that they are going to be without a shooting guard that can catch and shoot. Playing Christian Brown, listening to Ticket TV talk about the Denver issues and how they could be losing their coach because they're not on the same page and all different types of stuff like that. I just think Zach LaVine would be a nice weapon for Jokic. So that's my preferred landing spot, even though I don't know that they could actually make that happen. From a fit perspective, I think Zach LaVine should probably be in Denver next to Jokic. But nevertheless, that's not important. The important thing here is that we don't take on that contract. We absolutely do not take on that contract. I understand that there's some YouTubers out there making a real strong case for Zach LaVine. They've been making that case for a long time. I listened to that case. I don't like it. I'm not going to like it. I'm always going to be vehemently against that contract. I think that's the worst contract that I can think of. It really is the worst contract I can think of. And I think in the salary matches circumstances that we have make it even less of a deal when you consider having to move on from expiring D'Lo contract and Rui Hachimura. No. Now, if we had a bunch of stuff I didn't like to match the salaries, then it would be more of a emphasis on maybe maneuvering to make that more reasonable in my mind. But that I'm giving away two pieces that I potentially think I could use, it really drives home the point that I'm not doing that. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is the Lakers waived Alex Fudge. We made a video last night around midnight talking about how the Lakers had signed Valerio Bowman on the 4th and then waived him on the 5th. We signed Alex Fudge on the 5th and waived him on the 6th. So I really don't know what the hell that is. But I'd imagine there's some science to it. Something we're doing with our cap that's making it reasonable that we do this very strange thing. I'm just going to assume it makes sense. I don't know that it does. It does look mighty strange, but when you do stuff like that, I have to assume somewhere within the rules and regulations of how things work, you're giving yourself an absolute advantage. And you probably need to know what those things are in order to assess it properly. I'm giving the Laker front office that benefit of the doubt. Because I refuse to believe that we're losing our mind. That's basically where I'm at with it. So there has to be something that Rob has figured out that makes sense in regards to picking up Exhibit 10 contracts and immediately waiving them 24 hours later. There's something there. We just don't know what it is. So that's what my thinking is there. I'm leaving that alone. Reports are Vanderbilt has not had a positive diagnosis on the foot injury as of yet, and it's a good chance that he misses training camp. And if you guys have followed me, I've already committed to trading Vanderbilt, to be honest with you. I'm still high on his defense. I think he's one of the best defensive players in basketball, but he's one of the worst offensive guys for scoring the ball and for creating space for others. So it's almost like his defensive sliders are slid all the way up and his offensive sliders are slid down significantly. I think it equates to him being an average basketball player that hurts his own team when he's on the floor with guys who also can't stretch the floor. He needs to be on the floor with 4 shooters in order for him to be an effective basketball player when he's healthy. When he's not healthy, you got to weigh that also against this issue that I just described. So for me, while he's on a $3 million contract, he's probably a very good piece for a team that's trying to squeeze him into a contending situation, including our own. Problem is, we do have these issues that exploit his weaknesses. And we've been a team that's dealt with his injury issues for the last 2 years and will likely have to pay him an exorbitant amount of money to keep him. I don't even want to go down that path, given his foot injury that has been lingering since God knows how far into the season last year. He did ultimately go down for the second time in the Boston game that he really played very well in February. But that injury dates back much further than that, and a lot of people may have forgotten he was actually coming back. He had only been back for 5 games after missing a handful of games with that same injury. We rushed him back. It took about 5 games for him to get back to normal. And in the game where he really looked his best, he went down at halftime, before halftime. So for me, it's like, look, I can't trust this guy to stay healthy. The foot injury's not healing properly. He didn't opt to have surgery. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but now we're going into a pay him year where he's probably going to miss the start of the season. And we're still going to have the issues with the spacing because we haven't made the changes necessary to ensure that that's not going to be a problem. I'm cool, bro. I'm cool. I understand he can guard people like De'Aaron Fox potentially and Jamal Murray, but I can't get him on the floor. And when I do have him on the floor, where he is guarding those people, he's also posing no threat on the offensive end. So it doesn't equate to me being as good as I need to be to really make the most sense of this particular piece. I love the Vandalorian. I love him elsewhere, to be honest with you, even more. So that's really what it is, man. I'm out. I'm trading him for sure, because I'm definitely not paying him whatever the hell I got to pay him. That's not happening. So, yeah, man, this is something that we came to terms with before the season even ended, bro. We were singing this tune back in like June, May. You know, I don't believe in letting things linger that create certain problems on the floor. AD and Bron getting crowded out because people want to play off of him. Darvin Ham keep throwing in the ball in the corner. He ain't hitting the shot. He was continuing to be tested to shoot the three well. When he shot it well, he really helped us a lot. When he didn't shoot it well, it seemed like we were overusing him, trying to force him into hitting the shot. He'd miss it and further screw up the spacing and possessions. I'm cool. I'm good. This is just not the right situation for that fantastic defensive player who's becoming rather injury prone. It is what it is, man. Great defensive player. Love him when he's healthy if I can keep those shooters around him. I can't. Send him to San Antonio, where he can play with Wemby, he can play with shooters. Actually, yeah, not the greatest spot for him there, but I'm thinking a shooter. Send him somewhere where shooters are on the floor at all times. So yeah, that's kind of where my head is, man. I'm a no nonsense mind at this point when it comes to the Lakers. I'm hearing the same old recycled ideas. From what I understand, there was an executive survey out there with the question posed, should the Lakers trade for Zach LaVine? And majority of them said yes. Of course they did. The field wants someone else other than themselves to take the Zach LaVine contract. The team that likely was the team in mind for him to go to when the contract was signed. Do you know why all the executives want you to take that contract? Because they don't want it themselves. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do that survey and ask if they think the Lakers should trade for anybody worth having. I guarantee you the majority are going to say no, because they don't want us to have anything good. They want us to have the worst contract on the planet in the Zach LaVine contract. That is why the executives voted that we should take it, because they all want someone else other than themselves to have it. Mainly the team that they all hate the most, which is us, who've won more than all of them, who have more championships than everybody but Boston, and ultimately who has LeBron James giving us free money just from being in the uniform. F all of them. So that's really what I have to say about that, man. Like I said, no nonsense mood. That's where I'm at. No nonsense. I ain't playing with nobody when it comes to this Laker thing. We're a month out from the season and people are starting to ask us to do stupid stuff that's going to make us bad for a long time. No Zach LaVine. Absolutely not. Not unless they're going to give us young assets, first round picks from here to 2030. Basically everything that ultimately we don't have, I want from Chicago. If they want me to take that contract, they're going to have to make real sense for me. I'm not going to take no one pick and second round pick protection, all that stupid crap. You're going to give me 2 unprotected first round picks. That's what you're going to give me. Or you're going to give me 1 unprotected first round pick and Matas Buzelis or Kobe White. You choose. But that's all I would settle for in regards to Zach LaVine. If you want to attach that to Zach LaVine, I will swallow the poison pill. Because at that point you will have either given me my future, for which I should be able to survive what happens after LeBron and AD are gone because of all them picks you're going to send me, or you're going to give me a player that's attached to Zach LaVine that can ultimately put us over the top to make us a champion. That's what Kobe White would ultimately be in my eyes after the year I saw him have last year. I would love to have Kobe White attached to my situation and the first round pick for which you will put no protections. Other than that, that man stays in Chicago if I'm running things. And you can make all the cases in the world about Zach LaVine being a star. I simply disagree. especially in this situation. Absolutely not. No, he stays in Chicago, man. That's it. Enough of this. I'm sick of the Zach LaVine rumors. If I never hear Zach LaVine name again in correlation with the Lakers, it'll be too soon, friends. It'll be too soon. I don't want to hear it no more. Okay? It's a poison pill on multiple fronts. Absolutely not. And he does nothing to solve our problem in regards to having defensive issues in our backcourt. He does nothing to solve that problem. You got the same problem that you're going to have with D'Lo with Zach LaVine. Only Zach LaVine's going to be looking to take stupid shots, as to where D'Lo's going to be looking to take good ones and ultimately create opportunities for other people to score as well. I ain't doing it. I know better. I deeply, deeply know better. And I think all of us who follow me should do a little more homework on Zach LaVine and think about who you expect him to be coming off of knee surgery, not the person that you last saw him as before the surgery, before the injury, for which he was in between injuries, because he's literally always in between injuries. He's already had one knee injury prior to the knee injury he's had surgery on back when he was with the Minnesota Timberwolves, for which I haven't forgotten either. This is somebody who's coming off of 2 knee injuries. And 1 knee surgery. Nah, bro. Nah, I'm not doing that. And he's on a contract that only a mother could love. Hell no, friends. No. That's a salary dump. You know when I'm going to sign Zach LaVine? When Zach LaVine's off of that contract. That's when I sign Zach LaVine. When he's ready to take $6-7 million a year, $8 million a year, that's when Zach LaVine can come to the Lakers. Literally. I'm not doing that. Souped up version of Lonnie Walker on a price tag that's paid like he's Kevin Durant. I ain't doing that stupid stuff. So if anybody from the executive Lakers organization follows me, for which I have reason to believe you do, please take into account everything I said about Zach LaVine over the last 2 years. I'm not a believer, man. I'm not a believer in the player as it pertains to him being a third star. Now, if he wants to be a nice high-level role player, hell yeah, bring him on. If he's on an $8 million contract, you see how Russell Westbrook served the Lakers when he was on a $40 million contract? And then you saw when the Clippers were able to pick him up for a $1 million contract directly after he left us, how much better he was for the Clippers. That's the idea. That's the exact idea. Because at the end of the day, you don't want a guy like that who's going to be responsible for so much and be able to deliver on a third of that, making so much money that you can't stack next to him what you need in order to be as good as you're trying to be. People who want Zach LaVine have him propped up and souped up in their mind like he's about to be some Anthony Edwards type of hybrid. Hell no, that's not who he is. He is more like a souped up Lonnie Walker, literally, with less likely to be on the floor issues, if that makes any sense. He ain't gonna be on the floor. Probably count on Lonnie Moore. No. N-O. Capital both. Absolutely not. All right. So that's really where I'm at with that, man. And look, all these different trades that are available to the Lakers, the ones that I'm hearing about, I'm not excited about those trades. We've talked about them all. If you follow me close enough, there's no conversation about Cam Johnson or Jeremy Grant or Valanciunas that you haven't already heard. I'm not interested in none of that stuff, personally. I don't think that most of those people are on any good contracts. I don't think they get me over the hump. Valanciunas is valuable, but not at $15 million a year for 3 years at this age. After the year I just saw him play, unless he's going to lose some weight and turn back into who he was and maybe shoot the 3 ball like he did when he first got to New Orleans, for which I'm not anticipating. He's just a guy who's overpaid too, who's probably likely going to be asked to do too much. You know what I mean? So while he would be a good piece on a good price tag, on the price tag he's on, he's no longer worth it to me. No. And see, that's the thing. It's like these teams, like Washington and Chicago, they know they ain't going to be no good. So they ask a guy to come in for an absorbent amount when they know they're not going to play the duration of that contract. They want to send that contract to teams like the Lakers, who they hope will be generous enough to trade for those contracts. I'm not doing it, Washington. I understand that you were able to capitalize big off of taking Russell Westbrook and sending him to the Lakers and then bringing back Kuzma and KCP in a first-round pick. So you're thinking, hey, the Lakers want Valanciunas. Let's bring Valanciunas in for half a season. Maybe they'll be willing to give us some more for him. No. I know that's what you were thinking, Washington, because that's exactly what I was thinking when you did it. It's like, oh, they plan on sending that to the Lakers. They fooled us once. Maybe they can fool us again. Hell no. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not playing this game with you executives at all. You may be able to run that on some of those people who are making millions of dollars, but not me chilling here watching all of it from afar. I ain't falling for none of these little tactics that these GMs and these owners are playing, doing these little things that they hope that one of these big teams who mortgage everything will be willing to take from them. You sign a guy, you better be ready to hold on to him the entire time, man. Don't expect us to bail you out. Don't expect the Lakers or the Knicks or the Miami Heat or some of these teams that are looking to do big things to take them weak-ass contracts off of your hands and be willing to give real stuff up for that. We're not doing it. Not if they listen to me, they ain't going to do it. Nah. If you're going to outbid the Lakers, if they listen to BDF 44, you got to be doing 3 and 4 steps ahead of what we thinking over here. You have to be, because we ain't going to be moving stupid if I have anything to say about it. No, I'm not paying for a rundown player who didn't play well when he was healthy in situations where otherwise championships were necessary. I'm not bringing in an oversized center who's well past his prime, who even on his best day can't beat the people I need him to guard. No, none of that. I'm not bringing in the guy that you thought you needed when you thought the player that was your franchise guy was staying, and so you gave the guy that you wanted to be his running mate an absorbent amount, and then he left, and now you get stuck with the contract for 5 years and hoping not to take it from you. No, I'm not. No, I'm not falling for none of that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Just because I got LeBron James and Anthony Davis does not mean I want to take a bad contract to slap next to them. I don't want to do that. I don't have to do that. That's your problem, and it should stay your problem. If nobody in this league is willing to trade for something, guess who I'm a part of? That field that doesn't want to trade for it. And you want me to take something back that ultimately nobody else wants, you got to give me a lot of what it is that everybody wants to make me think that makes any damn sense. Otherwise, you sit on that. You sign Ben Simmons for a 5-year deal, $50 million Brooklyn, you're going to see the whole thing out. You understand what I'm saying? He ain't sending that to the Lakers. No. Zach LaVine, no. You know what I'm saying? Literally. And look, to all those nice players out there who are on the verge of signing these massive contracts, understand, you could stay there, fam. In this era, with the aprons being as they are, if you're going to sign a contract that you know damn well the most of the field don't believe you deserve, never mind what you think of yourself and your confidence. If you're going to sign a 5-year deal at $400 million when you only average 18 points a game, do expect to stay there, bro. And it could go the Duncan Robinson route. Do the homework. You could sit because it's too expensive to risk you getting hurt. These type of things. You got to leave something on the table to make yourself attractive to the places that ultimately you want to land. You want to be a Laker? Sign a reasonable damn contract. You understand what I'm saying? If you want to be a Laker and you're going to sign with the Wizards, sign a reasonable contract that the Lakers wouldn't be absolute idiots for taking back. Then you will have a better chance of being on the Lakers. Because otherwise, they have to do something wrong in order to actually acquire you. Don't do it to yourself. Sign with teams you want to be with. And so I say to these kids, man, stop just taking the bag. Not all money is good money, fam. Not all money is good money. Especially if you plan on having a nice long career. Now, if you want to cash out and you don't mind just being somewhere, then cool, be somewhere. But know that's who you are. Know that's who you are when you sign these contracts, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to make a decision. Carmelo Anthony style. Either you're going to choose the money like Carmelo did, like Dame did, and just be about the dollar and just be a capitalist in the NBA, and you don't care what happens around you, and you definitely don't mind not winning. That's who you know yourself to be. You do that. If you want to win, like actually win, bro, you got to leave something on the table for real. You're going to have to. You can't be both. Not in this era. Zoners ain't having it. This is what it is. And don't expect these teams to be stupid because they're under pressure. Because you got people like me around here going to advise them otherwise. Especially in this era where when you do something, you may not be able to undo it. Oh, hell no. We ain't even got the picks to trade away Zach LaVine if we get him here and find out we don't want him. Hell no. Hell no. I'm not bringing myself anything I can't undo. No. There are things worse than failing in regards to the LeBron James and Anthony Davis timeline. And I want people to understand that. There are fates worse than simply not winning another championship with those two people. And if you fail to know that, you can mess around and swallow a poison pill that has your team bad for a long time, man. BDL 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.